Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I wanted to start by introducing myself and telling everyone that doesn't already know who I am a little bit about me and why I'm going to start making YouTube videos. My name is Pam and I am 44 years old, and back in 2012 when I was 38 years old, I decided that I was sick and tired of being extremely overweight, or obese, I guess you could say. And I decided that I was going to do something to change that. So I was determined to lose all the weight and feel better after being so miserable and trying every diet you could think of, all the pills and shakes and different things that always had failed previously. And I was going to get it done this time. I was determined, I was motivated, and there was no looking back. One thing that I wish is that I had started this channel long ago so that I would have video of everything that I've done and everything that I've accomplished and all of my successes and my victories and my triumphs and my struggles and everything that I've been through over the last few years, because it hasn't always been butterflies and roses. I wanted to talk about the reason, or the one thing, everybody always asks you, what was that moment when you just knew? What was your aha moment when you knew that you wanted to lose weight? And I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because all of us, when we decide to make a huge life change, we all have some kind of aha moment that kind of opens our eyes and causes us to want to make a change and motivates us to move forward and keep on going and not quit. One day happened when I was taking my children to a race in our town, and we had parked the car and we had to go across the parking lot, and then there was a ramp that we had to cross over, like a walking ramp that would take you over to where the track was for the race. And so I started walking over this ramp, and it was, of course, at an incline, and I got to a certain point, and all of a sudden I could not breathe. Like, I was just stuck right here, and I kept trying to gasp for air and nothing was happening. And it was really, really scary for me. And I was able to eventually get my breath back, but it was just, I can't even really totally describe it, because it was just, something I had never experienced prior to that. And it's really kind of indescribable unless you were actually there and it happened to you. But I was trying to catch my breath and it was kind of just stuck, and I had a little bit of breath, but I could feel something kind of blocking, like right in here before I would, when I would try to inhale and exert myself, it would just, like, it was just, something was just stopping me. I was able to finally get my breath back once I got to the top of the hill and had to go back down, and was able to get to the race. We watched the race and everything, and then after the race was over, we had to walk, of course, back to the car. So again, it was uphill and back downhill. Well, I started going uphill again, and of course, the same thing happened again. Surprise, surprise. So I was going upward up this hill, and of course, it happened again, and it just kind of stopped, and I couldn't breathe. And so I had to stay there with my children. My children at this time were very small. Now they're 11 and 14 and 15. So this was about 6 years ago. So they were pretty young. And I had to stand there with my children when my husband went to go get our vehicle so he could come back and get me. Of course, by the time he came back, I was able to catch my breath again, but it was the scariest moment of my life. I really thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room or, or something, but I was able to catch my breath, and that was what told me enough is enough. You need to do something. Like, you really, really need to do something. And so I, at first, I really like I didn't like go straight home and start like, oh, I'm gonna, do this, I'm gonna change my life, I'm gonna do it. But it was like in the back of my mind, like every single day for the next few days. And I kept being reminded of it. And it wasn't even just that. I mean, it happened prior to that. We had taken our kids to Disney World, and I was not able to walk through the entire park without my feet aching and hurting. I mean, it was to the point where by the second day of walking through the park, I literally could not walk anymore. I literally just could not walk. I was done, finished. I was in so much pain. That had happened before this incident happened, where I couldn't catch my breath and couldn't breathe. I mean, I knew that I couldn't walk more than 10 minutes without getting out of breath, but I never realized how bad it was if I should have had to climb a hill or exert myself more than just walking on a flat surface. So, probably a month or two had gone by, and I just lived my life. And of course, I kept thinking back to this one day. And I finally, on May 2nd of 2012, which was probably a couple months later, decided I've got to figure this out. I mean, I didn't like where I was. I didn't like the way that I felt. I was miserable all the time. I was tired. I literally could not climb up and down the stairs without my knees creaking and aching and hurting, and fearing that one of my knees was just going to give out from under me and I would go tumbling down the stairs. So I was fed up. I was basically fed up. So of course, I really didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was determined it was going to happen this time. I mean, I had been on diet after diet after diet after diet over and over and over my entire life, but this time I was determined to get it done. So when I first started, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I just knew that it had to happen because basically my life was on the line and I wanted to be here for my kids. So I had to do something. So I started by just eating differently, I guess. I stopped eating all of the sweets and the sugar and the big bowls of ice cream and all of the horrible things that I was eating before. I started working out, and eventually those things over time became habit, and I was determined just to keep on moving forward. I educated myself along the way, and I was able to become a success story because, as you know, most people that lose weight, within a year and a half, they have gained most or all of the weight back and more. But it really requires a lifestyle change, and I knew that if I did not change my entire lifestyle, that this was not going to be possible for me. But after all of the hard work that I did, working out all of the time and eating right and educating myself and learning how this was possible, there's no way that I'm going back to where I was, because it really was just miserable. And I don't want to be that person anymore. I like who I am now, and I don't ever want to go back to feeling that way again, because I was just not in a good place mentally, physically, emotionally, in any way at all. So here I am now, and I will insert a picture somewhere to show you my progress. I will make more updated videos talking about different things, whatever it is you would like to know. So I'd love suggestions. You could let me know down in the comments if you have any suggestions for videos that you would like to see. If you're struggling with your weight, I would love to hear from you. Let me know what questions you have, and I would be glad to make videos addressing your concerns or answering your questions. Have a great day. Bye.